Hello and welcome to Outside Views. I'm Mark, and today we're delving into a really poignant and often frustrating question for many British citizens living in the European Union. Are British immigrants second-class citizens after Brexit? Well, it's a challenging topic that strikes at the heart of identity and rights, and we're going to examine it closely. The core premise that propelled Brexit was the desire for the United Kingdom to reclaim control. And this meant regaining sovereignty over UK laws, borders, and its destiny, free from the legislative reach of Brussels. The appeal to sovereignty and autonomy resonated deeply with many voters who felt that decisions affecting the UK should be made in the UK. A significant part of the campaign emphasized regaining control over immigration and trade policies, promising a more independent and prosperous future for the nation. And the vision was clear: a strong, self-governing UK making its own way in the world. However, for many British citizens who had exercised their freedom of movement rights and built lives across the European Union, Brexit introduced an unexpected and unwelcome twist, particularly concerning their voting rights. Before Brexit, as EU citizens, they generally had the right to vote and even stand in local and European Parliament elections in their country of residence under the same conditions as nationals of that state. And these rights were seen as a beneficial aspect of EU citizenship, allowing them to participate in the democratic processes of the communities they called home. The UK's withdrawal from the EU, however, that cast immediate uncertainty on these fundamental rights, prompting a wave of concern among British citizens living abroad. As third country nationals after Brexit, the automatic entitlement to vote in EU local or European elections ceased to exist. This potential for disenfranchisement created a profound sense of delusionment and marginalization among UK citizens abroad, many of whom felt their voices were already not fully heard during the referendum itself. You know, the outside the UK voting rights in the UK. The lack of clarity and the subsequent loss of certain voting rights created a real sense of uncertainty and frustration for British citizens in the EU. Many felt caught in a Catch-22. They were outraged and encouraged to return home by some, yet if they stayed, their democratic participation in their new homes was curtailed. And this situation exacerbated the feeling among many British immigrants that their voices were not heard in the referendum. They were often unable to vote in the very decision that profoundly affected their lives and their residency rights in the EU, and now they found themselves further marginalized without voting rights in their countries of residence. The UK government's efforts to address this issue have been met with mixed reactions. While the UK has abolished the 15-year limit on overseas voting for UK general elections, effectively re-enfranchising many long-term immigrants to vote in UK national elections, this doesn't address their lost voting rights within EU member states. Bilateral agreements on local voting rights have been sought with individual EU countries, and some have been reached, for example with Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg and Poland, allowing reciprocal rights. However, in many EU countries, especially those like France and Germany, which do not grant local voting rights to non-EU citizens by national law, British citizens have definitely lost these rights. And this patchy and often insufficient responses leaves many still feeling disenfranchised and without a say in the local decisions that directly impact their daily lives. The post-Brexit landscape for British immigrants' voting rights remains unclear and continues to be a subject of ongoing negotiations and, in some cases, legal challenges. The European Court of Justice, for instance, has ruled that British citizens living in EU countries no longer automatically enjoy the status of EU citizens and therefore lose the right to vote and stand in municipal elections in their member states of residence. And this ruling underscored the automatic consequences of the UK's sovereign decision to leave. The UK's future relationship with the EU will undeniably play a crucial role in shaping the voting rights of British immigrants. Any closer alignment of future agreements could potentially open doors to restoring some political rights, but this is far from guaranteed and would likely require significant political will from both sides. The evolving legal framework surrounding these rights will be closely watched by both the UK and the EU, as it sets a precedent for how former member state citizens are treated. Understanding the complex issues surrounding British immigrants' voting rights is essential for informed political participation, both for those directly affected and for those who care about democratic fairness. And if you are British citizens living in the EU and feel impacted by these changes, it's crucial to engage with the issue. So contact your representatives in the UK Parliament and advocate for your voting rights. Support campaigns and organizations like British in Europe or other immigrant advocacy groups that are actively working to protect and promote the rights of British citizens abroad. Your voice, when combined with others, might make a difference in raising awareness and pushing for solutions. And this isn't just about a technicality, it's about the fundamental democratic right to have a say in the place you call home when you get these rights taken away without your saying in it. But what are your thoughts on the voting rights of British citizens in the EU post-Brexit? Other third country nationals don't have them. Have you or someone you know been affected? So please share your experiences and insights in the comments section below, and let's continue this vital discussion. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Outside Views for more essential insights into global UK issues, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, and the next video is right here in the end screen.